No, dude, there's so many people that whenever I'm feeling super down on myself, which happens, I will think about all of the friendships I like navigated away from, of people who I know are either pure fuck ups now or I don't know, and probably means they're worse off. Or better off, but I doubt it.
And maybe it wasn't even a conscious choice. You just like, you know, in your gut, you were
like instinctively at some point know, like, this fucking guy's.
Dude, it's almost a chemical thing. Have you heard of how there's these like women will like go off of birth control and then no longer be attracted to their boyfriend because the birth control is like blocking their ability to smell the pheromones in like someone, and that's like what naturally attracts you to someone. And so once that is not fucking with like their hormonal whatever, and they can actually smell the guy, they're like no longer into him. I
wonder how many times that's happened to me.
Oh, where you got dumped because some chemical change occurred? Or
like, dude, I wish, like, I don't. There's like a
I think every time I was dumped, it's because of some chemical change and nothing because of nothing.
Sure, man. You don't know?
I do love the guy that chooses to learn nothing from his mistakes. Yeah. That's who my father truly is.
Well, I mean, that's a choice.
That is.
At least they're making a choice. They've learned that choice is the only thing they're going to do.
Dude, and the effort to commit to learning nothing when the whole world is trying to show you the truth. I mean, that is a valiant effort. It's
kind of beautiful.
It's kind of poetic,
It's kind of like, damn, dude.
To be like, wow, everything's changing around me, and I'm refusing to be a part of that. Like the sheer tyranny of will required to just fucking not evolve.
Like that is clear. Like that's something you can. That is something you can learn from.
Sure.
You need the people who refuse to learn because you learn the most from them.
Yeah. Even rocks erode.
Yeah. Some roads are made entirely out of rocks. You know what I mean?
I said erode, like erosion.
No, I'm saying it's a road. Sometimes the road.
I feel like this is how like every conversation between senior citizens must happen. Like, you mishear like a crucial word, and like neither one picks up on the fact that the conversation is.
And they both just go completely different routes.
But could probably still talk for an hour and a half.
Years. Just
because the alternative is looking at applesauce in my room alone.
No, let's just go deal with it.
Getting yelled at by a blonde lady on Fox.
Let's just go deal with it. Let's just go hang out and talk to. I'm gonna go talk to Ryan, even though I mostly don't know what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
But he's good conversation.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm saying even rocks are roads. Meaning even the road, when you smash it to pieces and it's nothing but rocks, it's still you can still drive on it.
Yep.
You can still learn. You can still get from point A to point B.
And even
if it's smashed up.
And even when those rocks turn into sand, you can drive on sand.
Damn right.
And even when that sand turns into smaller sand.
And even when that sand eventually turns into glass.
Is that what happens?
Yeah. You look right through it. And you can still walk on glass, but most people are afraid to do it.
Wait, does sand become glass?
Glass is made out of sand.
Really?
Yeah.
Just deep, like highly compressed particles of sand or something? Wow.
I'm pretty sure. Chad, if you check on that.
I know. We do need someone.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that, it's mainly, it's sand.
I was always wondering what that was.
That makes glass, yeah.
Wow.
There's that, dude. Fuck yeah. Check that shit out. See?
Yeah, that's not nothing.
You learn. You will learn a thing or two on Best Guys Podcast. Even if we're not... You'll learn even if we're not sure the answer. Because we're trying to learn too.
Yeah.
You know? Old school.
Right.
This is an old school podcast where you can only get it on the internet, but we refuse to fact check ourselves on the same internet.
Correct.
We're doing it old school, conversational.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of like misinformation is not new. I think that should be, it's just maybe more effective in its ability to travel, but it's not. I think people have always been sort of, told wrong facts forever because it was the alternative was going to a library to find out what the truth is.
Well, also, people just want to believe what they want to believe.
Yeah,
that's what I think the most dangerous part of misinformation is
like whatever, like cherry picking facts to.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, straight up, dude. Like, I mean, and I think a lot of people are in this boat because you're just trying to like find the thing to cling to get through the next few years. But I honestly believe the good thing about Donald Trump is that he brings out the true you. Your reaction to him is the real you. Across the board. And unfortunately, as we've learned, a lot of people would rather just throw a lot of other people under the bus because they're afraid and want to be safe and secure and all this bullshit. Or a lot of people don't have opinions of their own. They just let, fucking certain news anchors and
that seems to be
guide them. But it's like I truly believe his presence, the way you react to Donald Trump, is who you are as a human being.
I mean, you could say that about anything, no?
I'm saying him specifically. I don't think there's another person out there that
like a more polarizing figure.
Yeah, like he's like you get too close to him and the real you just comes out.
Yeah, he does. It does transcend. It's not about Republican Democrat at that point. It's about on a molecular level.
Yeah. He makes hateful people proud to be hateful. And he makes like bleeding heart liberals very proud to be bleeding heart liberals, like across and everything in between. Like if you love Donald Trump or hate Donald Trump, it is directly because of Donald Trump.
Oh, it's almost like the way
it's like he brings it out of you in ways that you don't even know you possess.
Yeah,
like he's made me realize things about myself where I'm like, yeah, I guess I just don't give a fuck about religion more than I thought. Like I'm not calling myself an atheist. Like he's made me realize how agnostic I am because of how much he touts the bullshit and religious people believe him. And I see them reacting, and I'm like, wow, you made me realize how much more anti-religious I am.
I just can't believe the amount. I was walking around Greenpoint, and I was like, oh, every church is located at the place where there's the most sun during the day. It's like it's the most prime piece of land and the tallest building by far. Like they just kind of got here first, flexed on everybody, and the ruse has been alive ever since. I mean, they've been really able to, and then people who want to grift that way can. Yeah. You could always, dude, if, you know what I mean? You could just become, like things aren't working out, Christian comedian. In a godless world, you can find a market. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude. Well, also because, like, you don't actually have to have a point or a talent, really, to be a Christian anything.
Dude, I don't want to be.
You just have to exude. And God!
I don't know if I've told you about this, but
Hallelujah!
There's my uncle in Texas, he used to go to a cowboy church. Where they would do like skeet shootings on the church lawn and stuff. I went to this church. It's in Kaufman County, Texas. I was at South by Southwest, and I went and visited. It was like 3 hours outside, and I saw a girl named Cheyenne who was like 15 get baptized in gym clothes. She was like in a aluminum tub, and the guy went down with the old and up with the new. And when she was baptized, and everyone went yeehaw. And there was maybe like 25 people.
And there was barbecue sauce?
There was, I mean, he announced, and then there was a Little Bob and Big Bob, and they played music. But anyway, this guy, when my uncle died, he ended up coming to Rhode Island to do like the service. Okay. And brother, when I tell you this guy was improvising, completely letting it fly off the top of his dome. Right. Like he was like, everything always came back to mother. He would always say, it's like this guy had never said the word mother in his life. He would say ma. His mother, his mom. Okay. But like my grandma, he was just making up. Like I've never seen a guy just free ball like a funeral service. A eulogy? It was crazy. Wow, okay, It was crazy. And I'm like, dude, this guy's fully like grifting. Like, And dude,
baptize you in Lone Star, motherfucker. It's a whole vat of Lone Star beer. You baptize people, and then we all drink it,
bro.
And that's how we see the Lord.
And his wife, she wanted to sing a song. Apparently, my Uncle Dick was like, "You have to sing a song."
Okay.
At the funeral, and so someone had to go get her a boombox because she had a CD. So someone had to go to Best Buy on the day of this guy's funeral to pick up a little boombox, and then she put it in, and then like it had to restart it a couple times, and then I mean, when I tell you the voice was like, "Oh God, Lord, me now here for you."
So did she speak English as a first language?
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry, but it was just the most I was like, this feels like a prank. Like it truly felt like a prank, and I just couldn't. But this guy is just making a lot of money, just running a little cowboy church in a weird town in Texas.
Yeah, dude.
And it's like just because he's affiliated with God, people are like, oh, I got to go there and be a part of that.
They feel accepted, and they feel like.
But as a performer, I'm like, this is a terrible act.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Because when you stand up enough, you're like, I know what it takes to like put together a sermon or like whatever that would be.
Yeah.
And you're not researching, you're not trying to come off as,
No, well, you don't have to.
Even when there was like some of his ashes, and he was supposed to like put them, he like just dumped, like the wind just took them across the yard. Like it was, and I remember my cousin Sarah, she was just like, oh.
Yeah.
And like no part of the thing was done well. Like it truly could be like a convict on the loose.
It's almost like but then even that you can be like, and the Lord wanted to, like, that was him being swept up to heaven.
Yeah.
Right in front of our eyes.
Yeah.
Right in front of our eyes.
He was just good enough at improv to make it like not something that you could be like, hey, can you please stop? But it was so bad. I mean, it was
what is so fucking dangerous about the church too is like anything can just be chalked up to, well, that was God's plan. That was God's will. You doing this thing, anything that happens,
right? It's a perfect scapegoat.
Can be excused away.
Well, that's how I feel about some comedy too, where it's like it'll be like a bad joke. I'm talking about not like naughty bad, but like literally like a 1940s street joke, right? With like a slur in it. But you throw a slur in it, and now if someone's like, that joke sucks, it's like you're just being a pussy and you're not appreciating.
Yeah, you're not appreciating.
Like because you're being a bitch because I said a bad word and that triggers you. It's like, no, man, it was lazy and bad.
Yeah.
That's the part that's annoying. The fact that you said a slur. We all grew up in America. Yeah. Like no one's triggered. I can watch fisting porn on my phone.
Yeah.
I'm not triggered by you using a slur.
I can watch fisting porn where they shout slurs at each other the whole time.
100%.
You know what I mean? But also like, I know what you mean. It's like, oh man, you just don't get jokes. You don't have well, dude, people do that shit to me or you or any of us. People who are not comics.
Yeah.
Who come up to comics and say just dumb fucking stupid,
all the time,
terrible jokes.
Do you have any good ones that you remember?
No, because it's always
mindless,
the lamest,
grovel.
stupidest shit.
Yeah.
And then when you're like when you don't react or just react like whatever, they're like, oh, I thought you were a comedian.
Yeah.
I'm like, so what does that mean? You can come up and just say the stupidest thing anyone's ever fucking said out loud, and I'm supposed to laugh.
Right.
Like it's also the same thing when a comedian has an opinion about something and someone goes, stick to comedy, and you're like, okay, if you stick to, what do? You run an AutoZone? Well, then you stick to running an AutoZone. Mm-hmm. You can't have if I can't have an opinion, you can't have an opinion.
Yeah.
Because fuck off. Or we could both have opinions. Speaking of this, here's an opinion. Not a popular one, but I think graveyards are doing
sexy.
We're doing fucking hot.
I love that.
We're doing it all wrong.
Okay.
So when you look at a graveyard, it's just acres of unusable land because there's a bunch of fucking bodies buried there.
Yeah.
Right? Or take that same amount of land, turn it into just like the dopest park, playground for kids, somewhere people just want to fucking hang out, but have plaques, dead shit. Like, here's this person, this bench, here's a bunch of plaques of dead people's names on it.
Yeah.
This tree, this swing set.
So that you know they're under you, but you don't know where they are.
You don't know where they are, but you also know, like,
it's like a fun mystery game.
Right, but also it's like, you'll be reminded, you want to go visit Grandpa's grave, he's that swing set.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, there's some kids on it right now. There's some kids playing on that swing set. Doesn't that make you happy that it's associated with your grandparents?
My issue with the graveyards is like the cost of it, right? Because like I shared a room my whole childhood.
Okay.
And now I have
being in a graveyard, man.
But I'm saying I gotta pay. I can't get a bunk bed in the grave. Like we can't split. Like we still gotta pay for a whole 1-bedroom each.
Well, dude, no. So I was just in Chattanooga. There's a big national, like, veterans cemetery there. Mm-hmm. My fucking Uber driver, who was a veteran himself, told me that if someone related to the soldier dies before the soldier, they bury them deeper in the plot.
Damn.
And then just bury, or the other way around. Or the soldier gets buried first, and then if his wife dies later, they just bury him deeper, and then the wife on top.
Do they do it 69?
I mean, bro, you better hope. You better fucking hope.
You better hope.
But that also makes sense, where it's like, just dig one plot. Yeah, just fucking stack them in there.
What the hell?
Who gives a shit? 6 feet deep. That's just an idea.
Yeah, and
that's just deep enough to where they don't float out or.
Right.
I mean, in New Orleans, you can't bury bodies on the ground because the water. Because the water table or whatever. Yeah.
So what do you guys do? You put them.
It's all tombs. You've seen the classic.
Yeah, the walk-in.
But that's just
the walk-in
in New Orleans. Yeah, that's just in New Orleans proper. Fuck that, dude. Just fucking or just cremate.
That's a wild flex too, to have like the walk-in. Like it's a room that you're dead.
Yeah, I mean.
In.
Yeah, but they stack people in there.
Yeah, they do stack people.
Sometimes I think they just toss them in there too. And just close it.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage has a tomb in New Orleans that you can visit. He's not dead, but it's like when he dies.
That's where he's gonna go.
It's like a pyramid. Yeah, he's got it's a very it's kind of it looks like that's a millionaire actor who was probably coked out of his mind when he bought it.
Yeah, you think he goes there and talks to himself sometime?
Dude, Nicolas Cage used to be in New Orleans a lot in like the late 90s, and he was apparently a big fucking acid guy.
That makes sense.
Would just be tripping his dick off constantly.
I think Jim Carrey said that he's like one of his best friends. He's like Nicolas Cage is like my fucking guy.
I mean, dude, I'm gonna say this right now. You talk about a resurgent, a career that fuck yeah.
I know he's kind of become like an impression of himself in a good way. Like it's become like.
Well, I feel like he comes from the he's legacy. He's a Coppola.
Okay, I didn't know that actually.
You didn't know that?
No, I thought he was a Cage.
No, I mean it's not his real last name, but I don't think. Yeah, Nicolas Cage is Francis Ford Coppola's nephew.
Wow.
As is your boy from Rushmore, all the fucking Wes Anderson films. I'm a fan. I can't think of his name right now. Jason
Alexander.
No. Younger guy. You know what I'm talking about.
Bateman.
No, you know what I'm talking about.
Jason.
Is his name Jason? Have you seen Rushmore?
No.
Have you seen Fuck? What else?
Come on, don't do it.
What?
We don't care. I don't know who he is. What do you mean? So he's some other guy?
Yeah,
okay, great.
When I think you know this, but Nicolas Cage is a Coppola. So he's already he won the Oscar in the 90s for that movie.
Face Off.
No, you wish. You fucking wish. No, Leaving Las Vegas.
Okay.
And he did the action movie John Woo thing, and then he did the National Treasure shitty movie trilogy that made everybody a fuck ton of money. And it seems like then he was like, you know what? I'm just going to take the craziest scripts I can find.
Yeah.
And just say yes.
That's what Jim Carrey does too. He calls himself a turd polisher because he'll just take Mr. Popper's Penguins and somehow make it work, even though it's insane.
You know, I auditioned for that movie.
Did you really? Were we going to be a penguin?
I was going to be the bellboy.
Nice.
You know who was there auditioning for the same exact part?
Who?
Q-Tip.
Really?
Yeah.
They didn't know what they wanted at all.
They had no clue what they were looking for yet.
Yeah.
Q-Tip.
And you.
The rapper.
Right.
Like legacy. Like Hall of Fame, if there's a Hall of Fame for rap.
And you saw him in the room and you're like, I got this in the bag. This
saw
is
him.
Definitely going to be me.
I saw it. They said his real name when they called his name. And at the time, and I had a BlackBerry. And the moment I heard his real name, I like Googled it. And it was like, oh, that's him. That's for real quick. That's for real Q-Tip.
Wow.
And it was like I couldn't. I was too shy to say anything to him.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan. But like, yeah, anyway, point being.
Nicolas Cage.
No,
kind of the guy.
If, I don't know. I mean, if Q-Tip and I would have been in Mr. Popper's Penguins, we'd be talking about it with a different tone.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not.
But he has his own grave.
His own tomb in New Orleans.
A tomb is above ground and a grave is below. Okay.
See that?
I just put that together just now.
See, you did not refuse to learn that.
That's correct.
So you're not your dad.
No, I'm not.
Right? Something that's been around before you were ever changing or hasn't changed since you've been around, you've just accepted.
Yeah.
The nomenclature of where we put dead people. But I'm saying make it a park, a place where people want to hang out, want to chill, want to go make out with a girl or a boy for the first time.
People do want to do that there.
They do it in the graveyards,
yes.
It's
They're all hot.
I guess you're right.
Goth
to
teens.
them, like a tomb is like a fucking swing set.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just want to climb on top of this thing and
it's a sex rock.
and just fucking be on.
Just bend me over.
Bend me over.
There's so much gross. Yeah, I agree that we're not really doing. I mean, also people are running out of room, like in these.
Dude, I tell you what. Just now though,
what
I got the fucking urge to, if I knew factually right now, there were like a handful of goth teenagers hanging out at a graveyard nearby, I would be like, let's go scare the shit out of those kids.
Sure.
I don't know if that's a thing about me becoming an older man, but I don't know because I always used to. I used to
no,
love
there's
those
something
kids.
probably like I feel like
scaring the shit out of kids or just people.
Well, specifically goths, I think. Like if you can spook a goth,
Oh, bro, make a wish.
you know what I'm saying?
Would you spook a goth? Make a wish.
Right.
It's like
If you can make a goth genuinely scared, that you're basically telling, like you're showing them their true self. You're Donald Trumping the goths.
Yep.
Because every goth, I don't know what. I didn't go goth. Did you go goth ever? No. I went hippie. That's the way. Because I think it was a time when you're young where it's like whatever you're listening to musically, you just kind of identify as that.
Oh,
there were kids who listened to like the classic rock of it all, and they kind of all hung out together. Then there were kids that liked 50 Cent like a lot, and they were like white kids wearing do-rags in 7th grade in like the middle of the woods of Rhode Island.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
in the woods. Yep.
And then there was the goths, and they were listening to the Marilyn Manson and Mudvayne and Slipknot and
well, I mean, those are three completely different.
I think that was all at the time. Middle school, it didn't. I think that was.
But those were not the same era.
Oh, really?
No, fuck no.
I don't remember.
But I mean, I dabble. Okay, I would say this: I dabbled in goth, meaning like I saw Marilyn Manson live.
Wow.
Way back then, I went to like Ozfest and that kind of shit, which wasn't goth necessarily. Dabbled, but I was slacker, like stoner slacker.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first like phase, I think.
Right.
Like young, just like whatever, man. Because I saw Dazed and Confused.
And you were
when
like,
I was 13.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is my personality now.
Right.
And fucking, but then that turned into, you can't really say the word. South African American is what I say.
Mm-hmm.
The white kid really into hip hop. Suburban white kid really into hip hop.
Gotcha.
And then that morphed.
You had that phase.
But it wasn't like
you didn't go hard. You didn't lean too hard into it.
It wasn't like, yo, what's up? We was out here. I wasn't. But I was like, fucking Dickies, the Dickies and like the baggy Dickies and like the Adidas fucking Sambas, which were white kid hip hop anyway.
Yeah.
And like the fucking Wu-Tang Outkast shirts, as many as I could, or like the like cholo looking button downs, but they're short sleeved. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Shaved head. But not skinhead, because you were like, well, you're a white guy. But I'm like, no, because also it was hip. It was like you were that was the look. Shave your head if you were into fucking listening to goddamn Outkast all day too.
Right.
And not being racist. But and then that morphed for about half a year into raver. But early rave, not the shit by the time it was categorized as rave. Like early raves were like dirty and dingy, and in places like this. It was never in like music venues. It was like parking garages or like, you know, warehouses that were just up for rent.
Have you ever seen a rave that's all in headphones? Like they're in the park.
Quiet rave?
Yeah, the silent raves. Yeah,
saw that for the first time in Edinburgh, and I was like, "This is the stupidest thing I've ever."
Yeah, it's tough look for sure.
There's also comedy shows like that.
Yeah, that's
which is also
insane.
Like, it's stupid though because you're just listening, but someone's still talking and you're still laughing.
Yeah,
the headphones are completely moot.
No, yeah, they are.
But
moot.
yeah, the silent disco shit
that's goofy stuff.
It's goofy. I've done it before.
Really?
I just had a sheer curiosity. I'm like, I have to. It was like you had three different. It was like you had ambient like dance music, and your thing would be like green, and you could switch it, and it would be like more like industrial. And it was like a purple, and then there was a third one that was like more groovy. It was like a blue, and so your shit was color coded. Then you're like you could dance with other people with the same color.
Right.
And you're listening to this. But then it's like you're still all dancing and moving around and making a fucking show of it.
I mean, it's
the
just
music's not being blasted out.
I think it all just comes down to making a buck. You know, someone's like,
Damn right.
we can just.
Damn right.
People will pay money to have this experience for no fucking reason.
That should be a color. That should be the green.
Yeah.
I'm willing to pay money. I get it. I'm being hosed.
Yeah, I mean, it's occurred to me that that's kind of what everything comes down to at the end of the day. Like even, you know, our industry, where with comedy, where it was like they just went through like every white guy, and then that like until it was like not like the money just wasn't coming back, and then they started like it was being more inclusive, and then you know until the money just wasn't coming back, and now it's going back. All right, it's just all money that's moving all of this stuff. It's not anything other than like what they perceive to be like a way to make a buck. I don't think that there's any such thing as like woke or sharing, uplifting voices. It's literally like, will it make money right now? Yes. Okay, we're doing that. And then, you know, years later, it won't. Then we're doing the other thing. And I don't think there's any real morality behind any of it.
Whereas, truthfully, the fun part is, if there was like integrity or like true, authentic, you know, ideas behind it, it would just make money too. You wouldn't. I think there's a level of like, if you're always chasing the money, you're always kind of repeating the same pattern.
Yeah, and you know nothing the whole time, which has been the consistent fact of industry since forever.
Or if you just go like, nope, we're gonna stick to genuinely liking something and really appreciating and
that's basically
producing ideas.
A production house is essentially that.
And then and sometimes the money's not coming in droves, but it's enough. And then sometimes it's like a fucking goddamn flood of it, or like
that flood will also feed like the other. Because if you like this, you're definitely gonna like
right. And sometimes it's just an overwhelming amount, and you're like, well, but stay the course.
Yeah.
But it's like the tide; it comes and goes.
Yeah, which is fine.
But the beach is still there until it turns to glass.
Nice.
And then it's all about not being afraid to walk on that glass.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's because then that's when you realize that you're in a tank because you're a whale.
There we go. I was waiting for something to happen.
Something to bring back.
It started to sound a little sermony, and it actually made me
Hallelujah.
I was wondering if, like, you know how, like, comics watch comics? I wonder if, like, priests watch priests, and they're like, oh, damn, he's saucing right now. Like, he's actually, like, he's crushing.
Oh, man. He's bringing out Leviticus 13:62.
Right, that's a deep cut.
Oh man, he's gonna run with that on Mother's Day. On Mother's Day Mass,
he's opening with it.
He's going with Corinthians.
He's opening
14:9. Whoa, bro.
Yeah.
God, this guy
opening Corinthians on Mother's Day is
did you
crazy work.
Did you hear that he fucking out of nowhere, mid sermon, just switched right away to Simon the Zealot.
And then he licked a lady's head and started talking in tongues.
I mean, first of all, he starts going into Genesis, which I'm like, really? You're going with Genesis 2:51, and then totally new take on it.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing I know, I'm like, dude, this is some straight up.
This guy might be the Messiah.
This guy, I mean, for a moment there, I'm like, is Phil Jesus?
My buddy was playing music in church, and he's not like a particularly religious person, but he's just a talented guy. And he was like playing in like a church band that was like, you know, they're like all serious musicians. But he said he had to stop because the dude was like talking in tongues during a service that he was playing, and the guy, like, while talking in tongues, like, came over and, like, he was shaved head at the time playing guitar, and the guy came over and like licked his head,
that motherfucker.
And he was just like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
That was the last time I.
That's what the talking. You ever see it? It's just gibberishy.
Yeah.
It's like but I get it. You get just. It's like you could. It's easy to understand how to whip up that fervor and get everyone like, do you feel it? It's like, yeah, when you got a bunch of people
you're screaming
shouting that they feel it, yeah, they're going to feel something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, that's true, and I hate to be talking about stand-up, but there are people that just, like, scream their thing, and it's like, yeah, that's going to get a reaction.
Yeah.
But it's not, like, I don't know, it's not a particularly,
no.
I don't know, yeah.
And that's all I do. That's why... That's all I do.
No, you play with dynamics.
I like to scream.
How about that guy in Boston?
That guy was fucking weird.
Have you talked about that? No, we haven't talked about that.
The guy in Boston, where I was doing a show, when I was doing a joke, accusing the Catholic Church of not doing enough to unprotect priests who finger blast little boys.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, if you're Catholic, you should do something about that. And yeah, the guy from the balcony went, "Fuck you." I was like, what? And he goes, "I am Catholic. I'm doing something about it." I'm like, this is what you're doing?
Yeah, you're defending.
You're defending them and shouting at me? Hey, bruh. Yeah, that guy was a veteran.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It turns out.
But not. I don't think all. I think there's a lot. I've met a lot more veterans that are like way like, fuck those.
Yes.
We're chill. We're actually cool.
Yeah.
I actually fought for the right for you to have a difference of opinion. That's why I did it. I've met a lot more veterans that are like that.
Or just like, seeing that, you're like, all right, I'm not going to like get upset when someone says the word cunt or something, some innocuous thing that, there's no reason to
it seems like
be driven
when you
up a wall.
Meet veterans who've actually been through some shit and seen some fucking action, they seem to be the veterans that are way more like, yeah, man, it's all about everyone do themselves.
Or they're the ones on the street corner talking to.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
Because the country don't give a shit.
I know.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. Where's Jon Stewart when you need him? Huh? When's he running for fucking president?
I mean, if we're doing celebrity, if Dr. Oz is in the White House, then there's no reason Jon Stewart shouldn't be president.
Jesus Christ, dude.
I do like that he's so, giving everybody a little bit of what they need to hear instead of just it's so popular, just like, because I believe that, like, Fox News and CNN, much like, woke versus edgelord, it's like, it's very, Batman and the Joker, where like they need each other,
right,
and they're like, without the wokey woke whatever, then the edgelord doesn't get a check because
no balance,
right? So they need, if you're an edgelord comic, you need the woke thing to be existing in order to, because otherwise you serve no purpose,
right?
So without the Joker, Batman, who is Batman saving anybody from,
And without Batman, who is the Joker?
Like tormenting or like, where's the challenge and the fun for him?
He's just like, shit.
So it's like, it's like all of these, it's like, it's kind of an ecosystem that is like feeding itself, and it's truly they're doing the same thing. It's just mirror like opposites, but it is effectively the same game being played.
Yeah.
And I wish more people could just kind of see that and then decide not to bite the bait. It seems like if people have the memory of a fish, and it's like, people are going to say, like, polarizing things to, or just to get a rise out of people because they've learned that that's what gets attention. Yeah.
Yeah, and well, also everyone's so afraid of like being an outsider now. or so afraid of like being, because with the internet, the idea of like, oh, you'll be cast out of whatever group you find is the one you need the fucking approval of the most to believe in yourself or consider yourself human. And I hate that. I hate how fraudulent everybody just gets.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, now that's how you talk now, person who I've never heard say that kind of shit before.
Yeah.
You know, like now you're a hard ass, or now you're a, you know, it's all bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do?
I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to learn.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to, everyone around you, as they change, you're going to say, fuck that. I'm paying attention. And then you're going to go to a graveyard and scare some kids. And one of these little goth kids is going to have a moment where they go, oh shit, and realize, wow, I do fear things. I am vulnerable. Hey, man, I'm going to go, and then they're going to go to a hippie and say, hey, we're kind of the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Without my gothness, there's no your hippiness doesn't stand out. Without your hippiness, who am I fucking? Who am I snarking at?
Right.
You know.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, every sort of superficial thing needs its exact opposite in order to stay. It's like it is truly like an ocean of bullshit.
Yeah. But once you realize we're all bullshit, let's just find a way to become fertilizer together.
I know, but the thing, yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah, right. This is kind of coming off. I wonder if to a third person this sounds like a mushroom conversation where two people feel like they're making sense to each other, but then the third person's like, "What the fuck are you even talking about?"
Or yeah, man. Or let's be that third person together collectively.
Mm-hmm.
Our consciousness. That's the third person. This is where I reveal to you that I actually am on mushrooms.
And you're a preacher, and you're a
dude. Actually, no shit. In Charlottesville, like a couple nights ago, opening for David Cross, a dude, no shit, came up to the bar we were at afterwards and was like, "You don't remember me? I used to live with this guy Danny." He's like, "But you're one of your roommates, Danny. Him and I went to college together. They went to Texas A&M." And he's like, "And I stayed on your couch for like a week, back in like 2010."
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I was like, yeah, man, sorry, I do not remember. He goes, "That's okay, man. I've been following your career ever since we met, and you know, you make me laugh, and I'm glad to see you're doing well, man. So here you go." And he gave me an ounce of mushrooms.
Really?
I have an ounce of fucking, like, he's like, I grow mushrooms and weed. He's like, these are pretty good. They're vacuum sealed.
Nice.
I have a fucking ounce.
And you flew.
Yeah. No
nice.
problem. No problem at all.
Oh, fantastic.
Zero issue.
Great to know, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, you would have to know it's mushrooms, but I'm just saying, I haven't touched them yet. I haven't unsealed them, but I got some fucking trippies.
Wow.
So there you go, bud.
Yeah.
What?
I got that would be a good Patreon.
Just us tripping. Yeah.
I would kind of do that. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I mean, maybe it's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know we need to do more of that, like going out and you know, seeing the world. But you've been on the road so much.
Yeah. I mean, that's all. It's gonna condense and change and shift, because that's the part that'll just kill you if you're not careful.
Yeah.
You know, that's the part that's the part we'll fucking. Yeah, I'm glad to have a couple days off just to like chill and like recalibrate.
Right.
You know, it's nice, but maybe I just do shrooms all week. Have we had a conversation about psychedelics yet?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was young, my buddy was going to eat WPI, and his friends, like, I don't know if you know a lot of nerds, but they make drugs.
What's WPI?
Worcester Polytechnic Institute.
Oh, okay.
It's like it's one of those, like,
I thought you were telling me like a
Oh no,
A mental condition that I've never heard. Oh, dude, a guy had WPI, man.
No. He was studying like
Whipping
biochemical engineering or mechanical engineering or something. Okay. But his buddy was making a drug called 2CI, and I don't know what the hell it is, but we took it at a music festival, and it was like absolutely bananas. Like I don't seek it. It's just powder. You put it in water, and you drink it, and you just kind of hallucinate for like 8 hours.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Like but are you also having like trippy brain where you're just like?
Yeah, we were at a
like you can't understand how water stays in a cup.
We were at a music festival. We were at Rothbury, the first Rothbury.
Okay.
And I just remember I was like, I came to and I was just like rubbing both of my legs while kind of dancing, and I was like, oh, I didn't even know where I was for a while there. Like it's an exceptional drug.
Like you were just, there was a moment of
where I was like not.
You were just like, oh, my name's Ryan. I'm a human being.
Yes.
I mean, but the last 4 hours,
I don't. Yeah.
Like, I mean, you could have been a completely different consciousness.
And granted, it was like music, so it's like an over, you're
right.
But yeah, I don't know. I didn't know if you had ever heard of that drug or not.
2CI?
2CI.
I have not, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I know it's probably not worth finding now. I think after now that I'm like, I feel like that's like 20s. You can find out about a new drug and do it. But I feel like we should, whatever drugs you know about now, we don't need to be introducing new ingredients.
Yeah, I mean. Unless, I would love it if they could find like they can, but like any like scientist or whatever not drug czars, but you know what I mean? Like make a version of acid that only lasts 3 hours.
Oh yeah, I know, for the love of God.
And it's not going to fucking snap your goddamn skull in half. Because the other shit's already out there. There's plenty of that.
Well, I just do like, I don't think I've done like a full... Like, I always take these things very sparingly, like little bit at a time. Just a nice accent on reality instead of just... I don't need to, like, lose my mind.
Wait, actually, Tim Smith. Have you talked to Tim recently?
Mm-hmm.
Fellow comedian. Mm-hmm. Is he okay?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, good.
Why?
Because we did a comedy fest like 2 months ago, and the promoter gave us all shroom gummies.
Uh-huh.
And he popped like 2 of them at like 3 a.m. or something.
I've done that with him before.
Yeah, and then I had to get on a flight like a few hours later, so I had to go to bed for a bit. But like, I'm just wondering how intense they were.
Yeah, we dropped acid together at 3 a.m. one time, and it was the day before Easter Sunday, and we ended up going to church.
What?
Yeah, we just went to the church in Greenpoint and just were like, holy shit, this is fucking nuts.
And just went to a mass?
Yeah, we were just at the mass. We stayed in the back so we could leave whenever we want. And then, like, after, I don't know, we were probably there for like 20 minutes or something. We were like, all right, we just kind of slinked out the back. And then we went to a cafe, like, around the corner. And we're sitting there for a while looking around at, like, a bunch of dudes in, like, puffy sweaters, that like purple sweaters, or, like, a lady with a dog and a guy with a cat, but they're not together. And I'm like, these people all need God. Like, it was very clear to us while we were tripping.
They need to go.
Yeah, they need to go to church.
Yeah.
And, like, look, because it was just so many, like, incomplete families.
Yeah.
And so, like, seeing the people at the church, I'm like, at least these, I don't know. It just felt like the people at the church were the locals, like, true locals that, like, have grown up here and lived here, and they're, like, trying to have a family. And then the people at the cafes were, like, full-on gentrifier, like, designer. Designer, like everything, and then like a stupid dog and a baby carriage, and I was just like, this is hell.
Just
like I fully get. I was like able to understand like how the middle of the country looks at New York City,
right?
And like kind of got it on psychedelics, just coming from because we kind of went to the church. I don't want to say ironically because I would be wrong.
No, that wouldn't be that wrong.
Okay, with a wink at the camera kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then going to the cafe after, it was like genuinely like, oh, these people need something like church,
like
because this is like lost energy. We were just like we didn't see a single like human for like an hour.
That's funny. You went to church and became like, if you just stayed for 10 more minutes, you guys would have just then stayed for 40 more minutes.
Probably, yeah.
And then gone and like been like, thank you, man. Like, and like talking to the priest.
Yo, we like I don't know if you do drugs.
Dude, I mean,
like fanboying over a priest.
I don't even know, man. But you know what? You know what was insane, man, is when you switched to Romans 15, 19. I couldn't believe you opened with it. What the fuck, right there, man?
And then you called back to it
on Easter Sunday, dude. That was wild shit, man.
You got full families in here. You're talking about someone like punishing.
I'm telling you what, man. You doing closing with Revelations, but then reading it backwards like that.
Yeah,
that was nuts.
I thought it was
was nuts.
Yep. Man. Considering it was also a funeral service, I thought it was a little wild to rally off the 10 Commandments, but you pull it together.
But I thought here's what's crazy. It didn't start a funeral, right? It wasn't. The guy died right there on the spot, right? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, fuck, man. You tell me, man.
Oh God.
That would be, yeah. I mean, I'm glad to know that you guys tripped on Easter Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Which, if you dropped acid at 3 a.m., you guys were already fucked up.
Oh yeah.
So you're also probably drunk a little bit still.
For sure.
But the acid's completely overpowered.
Correct.
The booze.
And by that point, it's like 9 in, and so we're like,
I mean, fucking out of it.
Yeah, we were like.
But at that point, you can almost argue that was God's will, and you guys were actually messengers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was
messengers of the divine.
We didn't even know, like, it didn't compute that it was Easter Sunday till I was like, damn, this church is fucking packed. And then I was like, oh yeah, it's Easter Sunday.
The day so many young Catholic kids can start jerking off again.
Is that Lent ends?
I mean, you don't have to give up masturbating for Lent, but everyone does it at some point.
Yeah, everyone
tries it. Well, especially soft Catholics, because you're allowed to do the thing on Sundays that you gave up.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I mean, yeah, it's fucking bullshit. But
it's all just insane.
Yeah, it's all bullshit. The only thing, I mean, Lent's more of like do it. People still do it though, but you do it for like, I'm not going to smoke cigarettes for 40 days.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you could probably. I think it takes 2 weeks to form a habit. So if you can get past the 2-week mark, you're kind of in the clear.
There are things in there where it's like, it was probably meant in reality to be like, hey guys, we've been feasting and fucking for the past few months, us pagans.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take 5 weeks to chill, just cleanse.
Yeah,
let's clean up. Let's dry up a little bit.
Right.
And then the church took that and was like, the Lord though. Mm-hmm. You give this up to prove that you love him by sacrificing a thing you like that you can still do once a week.
Right.
Yeah, it's all.
I mean, also, you think, confessing, like, kids, I remember as a kid, like, having to think of something to confess.
Oh, yeah.
Because I hadn't done anything, really. I was like, oh, let me think about, how can I feel bad about what I've done this week? Like, what in my week could I look back on and feel like was wrong, and then that'll make me good in this guy's eyes that I've like learned.
Yeah,
you're literally programming me to think negatively about.
Well, also,
myself.
I mean, dude, shit. Did you ever get to the point where you're like, oh, what can I lie about this week?
Oh, of course,
because I'm not telling you any real things. Yeah, because I ain't telling you no real shit. But also, digging it up. Like, I didn't do my homework when I said I would.
I murdered a woman again.
to make that jump. Like 1 week you're in there, you're just like, I told my mom that I was going to clean my room, but I didn't. And then I blamed my sister dirtying it. And like, oh, well, it's okay, son. Well, that's 5 Our Fathers and 2 Hail Marys. Then the next week you're just like, I butchered a man. I butchered a man in cold blood.
He's sitting in my fridge as we speak. Would the priest have to tell?
Yeah.
He'd have
to?
It's
definitely not lawyer privileges.
No.
It's definitely, I don't think so. Unless it is.
He's like, that's going to be 1 I molest yous.
Yeah, it's like, all right, listen, that's going to be, yeah, exactly. That's going to be 2, I get to blow you.
and you don't say anything.
And 1, you watch me shove a crucifix in my butt. And you sing a hymnal the whole time.
Oh no!
Yeah,
not the butt crucifix.
I mean, that's also the fucking Dude, that is definitely. I want to like pay a kid to do this now.
What?
The fake confession thing. That sounds weird when you just talk about button the crucifix. Like, I want to pay a kid to do this.
Oh, yeah.
Not what I meant. But just convince a kid, like, hey, dude, go in there this week. Tell him you, like, pushed your brother and blamed it on the dog for him falling down because he's too young to talk, whatever. And then the next week go in there and be like, I watched a man die. I watched a man die that I put a blade through.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to love a
and then when he starts telling you what to do as penance, just fucking spit at the fucking thing.
Jesus.
And just storm out and go, this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
This guy's a fucking phony.
To send that, that would be a little much. But like they used to do with like on Man Show where they send the kid in with the earpiece.
Oh,
remember
yeah,
that?
yeah.
Like do that with a confession.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Just start really fucking
that's
pushing it. Like, son, that's going to be 3 Our Fathers. Why? Why do I got to do 3? What if I just want to do 1?
Isn't it? Yeah, it's very.
Son, now it's the same. I'm just saying the same thing. You're telling me God needs to just hear the same thing repeated 3 times? Why? Just completely fuck with this guy's soul.
Yeah.
Why don't you do it, Father? Why don't you do how many? If I got to say 3 for slapping my sister, how many do you got to say for being a fucking drunk dirtbag?
I don't want to.
Huh?
Yeah, I don't want to harp on it too much, but I wonder. You were saying repeating the thing, like doing the rosary.
Yeah.
You're like saying the same thing like 150 times or something.
Honest.
Isn't that like losing your fucking mind? Like, isn't that what that is? Like, every insane person just says the same thing over and over again.
Oh, just
like
definition of insanity. Definition of insanity is repeating something and expecting a different process or
a different result.
Different result, yeah. Well, I think it's to train you to like this idea that like penance. You need to like it's this statistically speaking, if you give the Lord this many prayers, that will make up for X amount of sins. Like, I think it's training kids at a young age to be like
to do like
God cares about that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's like he's doing math, like he's doing like ethical.
Every prayer
Lord
you
math.
send me that is just the same prayer written by some asshole, and you just repeat it enough, that will erase. It will pay for the sins. What?
Did you just hear like a bell ringing?
Yeah, it was like a bus backing up or some shit.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Wow. I thought I was losing my mind.
Oh, you thought it was like the angel's bell?
Yeah.
Like us talking about religion is invoked the rapture.
The rapture.
They're coming for us, my friend.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, no, but yeah, that shit where it's like training from a young age to believe in a God who is prayer counting.
Yeah,
and counting it against your sins.
You talking about that little kid reminded me one time, I don't know if I've told you this, but one time I was going to my friend's house after school, and his mom picked us up from school, and then she had to stop at the library to go like return a book. So when she was inside, it was me and my 2 friends in the car, and I was like, hey, kid whose mom is inside, let's all get out of the car and like leave a door open and like stage like a kidnapping, like make it look like we got kidnapped. And then I told him to throw his shoe like 10 feet from the car, just like a single shoe. So it's just like a single shoe, an open door, and all the kids are gone. And we just like waited in the woods. And we were watching from behind the tree thinking like something would happen. And his mom is like an eye doctor who like doesn't, emote much.
Yeah.
And she just came out. She looked at the car. She looked at the shoe. She looked back at the car. And then she just walked back inside. And it was such a nothing reaction that we instantly were like,
uh-oh.
Fuck. Yes.
Really?
So then we just got back in the car and sat there. And then she walked out like 3 minutes later, looked at the car, saw us in there, got in the car, sat down, put her seatbelt on, started it up, said nothing. And she's like, I'm driving you all home. And then we just silently drove home. And she dropped us off one by one. And we just never went to his house. And that was,
Wait, but what? Okay. what was the purpose of y'all being in the car again?
We were all going to his house, like to hang out after school.
So and
we didn't even get there.
Yeah.
And she was like, "You're not coming over to my house."
Wow.
But it was.
Yeah.
But that's speaking to like a kid having like a visual imagination of.
I mean, that's pretty fucking sinister.
I know,
but pretty hilarious too.
I see. I don't know what, and nothing had to have happened.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I was coming from like a kidnapping family. I was just like, oh, this would be a funny joke, and then it's just like certainly not. So this is, these were my idea of bits before.
I'm driving you all home.
Yeah.
Dude.
And I totally get it. I mean, as a parent, imagine being the parent who left the kids in the car when they got kidnapped.
Yeah.
Like, that's tough.
It's less about the kids even. It's more about the embarrassment.
Yes.
Also, I mean, it would have been funny if she saw this happening, but y'all didn't know. And while y'all were watching her, she walked out, looked, saw the shoe, and just went, yes!
Oh, yeah.
Yes!
That would have been
And then just got in the car, cranked some music, lit a cigarette, and just peeled off. Fucking left y'all like, wait, what the fuck, dude?
That's a scar. Yeah, that would scar a child.
I like double fucked with y'all back.
Yeah. I'd support that.
Yeah. Prank them back.
Get him.
Yep.
Well,
fuck yeah, dude.
I think we got to wrap this up.
I think we just pranked this podcast into ending this episode.
Yeah, I think we'll find an ending. I'm sure it ended a couple minutes ago even. Sometimes it ends before it ends.
Yeah, man. It's a beautiful thing about editing.
All right. Just come in.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's over right now. No one will ever hear this.
No, this is the Patreon.
Yeah.
Is this stuff that we
just need to get over 200 views in app, and then we can have a Patreon. I'm excited for that.
There it is. There it is.
Let's do it.
Bye.